Okay, thank you very much. That wraps up the allotted time we have for questions this afternoon. We're now going to give each of the candidates 2 minutes to give closing statements. We'll actually start on the far end and work our way towards me. So Mr. Bladd, Mr. Shepard, Mr. Carta, and Mr. Chase. 2 minutes. Mr. Bladd.
Well, thank you again. I really do appreciate KPVI and the Idaho State Journal for sponsoring this event. This has been a great event for us to have, and it's so I am very appreciative. Thank you very much for doing that. I want the community to know that Pocatello is in great shape. We've got a better fund balance than we had the day I took office. We have better jobs than we had when I took office, and I know I've got a person here that will disagree with that. The reality is we've worked hard. We've brought those jobs in. We have, during the low part of the economy, Pocatello was able to grow, and we were able to recruit a large number of jobs. We were also able to retain those jobs. When I say I was the only mayor that went to Washington, D.C. to fight for the United States Postal Service in Pocatello, I was the only mayor that did that. And because of that, we were able to save that. When I say we had to work extremely hard to get Allstate here, they were coming here. And then they backed out of it and decided to leave because of a conflict outside of our control. We fought to keep them here. We've worked very good together as a council. And as a mayor, we've focused. We've got the budget under control. We've got good and controlled spending, and it's been a privilege to work for you. It's been a privilege to serve you. I've been able to start a lot of different projects and a lot of different things out there when it comes to our youth. Youth are very important to us. We have a more trail system now than we ever had before. We have a South End connector. That's one thing that I was able to do 20 years out there, and I was able to get that going because we made it a priority. Why? Because it's important for our community to have that. And so it's been a privilege for me to be able to serve you for the last 4 years, and I appreciate that, and I would appreciate your vote for the next 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Shepard.
Budgets, real simple. We need to keep them balanced, and with not at the burden of the taxpayers. We can do what we have to do, even still with the high service. So let's not bug the taxpayers. That'd be last resort. No one wants their taxes raised. Another thing, the equalities and freedom of the citizens of Pocatello. I will fight and honor them. Again, this is all new to me, so when elected, I'm going to use common sense. That's the key issue for everything. If you don't know, research the issue and use common sense. If you want a mayor that's going to be fair, trustworthy, and transparent, that'll be me. If you want someone that may raise taxes, not listen to the questions, skip and dance, you have some tough choices. I wouldn't be one of them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Carter.
Well, I hope you finished your wine, maybe your beer. Now I will finish my statement. But if you seek here resolution, health, a better life, then I hope you see what we see. If you feel as we feel, if you would seek as we seek, then we ask you to stand beside us and speak out against corrupt controllers that lurk in our midst. Create public initiatives, organize, and vote your true conscience. Take back our community. Join our class action suit against the criminal culprits here. And together we shall give them an all-awakening that shall never, ever be forgotten. I love that phrase. In regards to those things, people know that I brought in, and my argument is a $10 billion cleanup for this community. I work with the tribes too and try and get them up to $1 billion in cleanup. That money is and should have been available to you in this community. Why this community was not included in that Superfund site, I have no idea. And the ones I submitted and the Lawrence group submitted here for the protection of our community, I hope you will join with us to get the rightful compensation, not only for compensation for our tax burden that we've had to deliver for the last 30 years of cover-up, but let's deal with cleanup this time. And let's deal with the medical issues. The Radiation Compensation Act is real. I worked with the downwinders. We won that fight. That stuff is available for here. $100,000 of compensation for wrongful death from this material. When will you wake up? When will you stop dying of cancer? When will you stop believing in the myths and deal with the prevention? INL has the equipment to come here to clean your bodies. When are we going to get it? The Department of Energy owns it, and they have 2, maybe 3.
Thank you very much, Mr. Carter. Mr. Chase, 2 minutes closing statement.
Well, thank you. I'm going to start out first about talking about water, and the water project, probably my greatest disappointment in what Brian's done. And we had an opportunity to buy a portion of Chesterfield Reservoir. Had $18 million in federal money, $6 million that the voters of Pocatello approved to buy that water. We were going to use that water so that in the fall we could double the flow of the Portneuf River for about 8 weeks out of the year. By doing that, we would have been not in violation anymore as we are today in the fall when there's very little water in the river. We also were going to take that water and use it so that we could pump it. We'd acquired land down by the Portneuf River by Rollins and use that water out at our land application. And by using that water out at our land application, we wouldn't have to mine our aquifer as much, and we could have saved 10% of our aquifer a year. We would have had to use less water for it. That was a great deal for us. But probably what offends me the most about that, when Mayor Blatt decided not to do that, he should have returned the $6 million to the citizens of Pocatello. And I think that's something that needs to happen. And I challenge him to do that. And that's what the right thing is to do for Pocatello. To say that you can use that $6 million to find water elsewhere, I know about water. You'll never find a water deal as good as we had in Chesterfield Reservoir. Storage water that you could release when you wanted it. But in conclusion, what I'd like to say is Pocatello is a great town. And the way that we'll be successful is working together. I'm committed to you to listen to your ideas. I'm committed to you to have my office open. You know, when Brian talks about the fact that I completed the connector, well, let me tell you about Peter Angstead and Greg Anderson and Mayor Chase, who worked years to find that money and put us in a position to complete that connector. I know when we have great successes in Pocatello, we do it together. When we're using the word I did this and I did that, we're failing as a community. Together, we can make Pocatello a better place for all of us, today, tomorrow, and in the future to come. Again, thank you for coming today, and again, thanks for all those who helped put this on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We've got, in the closing minute that we have, I'd like to express some thanks to our 4 candidates, Roger Chase, Sierra Idaho Larix Carta, Paul Shepard, and Brian Blatt. We appreciate their participation today and taking a big chunk out of their day at a critical time in the campaign to hopefully get a message across to the voters. We also want to thank our partners, our panelists that helped in asking questions today, also Idaho State University that helped us here in the Black Box Theater here at the Performing Arts Center. Let me also just add a moment as to the commitment that KPVI made in this debate. We interrupted an hour of local programming and 30 minutes of Jeopardy. I like Jeopardy. I like to watch Jeopardy, test my knowledge. But KPVI is committed to community action in eastern Idaho, and that was why our general manager, Shelley Goings, felt so important that we should dedicate a full 90 minutes to try to get some ideas from the candidates to better inform the electorate. It's the electorate that then decides how we do, how far and how forward Pocatello goes, especially in this election. So we are 3 weeks away from the election. I hope you've listened and learned some things about the candidates. We will be making today's debate available through some video avenues at kpvi.com and also with the Idaho State Journal. We will detail those coming up in our newscast on KPVI News 6 at 6. For us, though, I'm Todd Blackington from Idaho State University. Thank you for watching, and make sure you get out and vote.